What's good, Raider Nation? Welcome back to Real Talk. It's your boy, as always, Kenny King Jr. First and foremost, I got a lot to talk about. Okay, we have a lot to get into. First, I want to talk about Victory Monday. The Raiders went out on Saturday and beat the Seahawks, the first game in the preseason. First game with Raider Nation back in Allegiant Stadium. Actually, back for the first time, because this is the first time that Raider Nation has been able to be in Allegiant Stadium. Last year, the inaugural season, Raider Nation couldn't be in there. We had the pandemic that shut everything down. Nevada said we could be at, minimum capacity. Mark Davis said, nah, it's all or nothing. I want to have my fans in the stadium. And now we're there. We had a ribbon cutting. Mark Davis and Carol Davis were out there. They cut the ribbon. They blew the silver and black confetti. It was nice. And it was nice to see Raider Nation back out there, to see the tailgates. And I know people were complaining about the noise and how it wasn't loud enough. Guess what? It's the first preseason game, and it was 125 freaking degrees outside. It's going to get better. Don't even trip. We're going to be in midseason form by week one. That Monday night game against the Ravens is going to go off, and I'm excited about it. But what I'm most excited about is how this team looked. Now, I know it's preseason. I know we're playing against scrubs. I know that you have, second, third, fourth, fifth team guys that aren't going to make the team. But what I'm talking about is when we had that second team out there, when they first started the game, those guys were out there making some plays, especially Nate Hobbs. I got to give Nate Hobbs a ton of credit. I'm looking at that one sack that he had on Geno Smith, and he was out there just making a name for himself. He made a statement. He went out there. He did his job. And he didn't sell the blitz, which was the best part about it, is you didn't see it coming. And you look at it, you had Darius Philon coming up the middle, and you had Nate Hobbs coming around the corner. Smith was going to get knocked either way. Now, it would have been nice if we would have got the fumble for it as well, but hey, that's neither here nor there. We'll work that out in the preseason. We'll get that better as the season goes. But this defense is a team that can fly around and they can make some plays. Gus Bradley has these guys dialed in, and I'm really excited about that. The other thing that I'm excited about offensively is we've got weapons, and we saw some of those weapons in action. And it was a big Zay Jones statement game. Zay is making the most of every opportunity that he has out there. He's been working really hard with Derek Carr the past couple off seasons. He's been putting in that work. It's exciting to see Zay get his flowers during preseason. Hopefully he gets some run. There's a lot of good wide receivers on this team. I know that, people say, well, we don't have this or that. We don't have that. And look, I think that this receiving core can be a very solid receiving core. And then you factor in the tight ends, you factor in the running backs. And speaking of running backs, man, Trey Vegas, or should I say Trey Vegas, that boy is a beast. Now, obviously, Raider fans, we get excited about running backs in the preseason, right? We've had our fair share of running backs that tear it up in the preseason, and then the Raiders decide to move on. I don't think Vegas is going to be that guy. I think that Vegas is going to be a guy that actually sticks around. He could take over Jalen Richard's spot. He could take over that RB3 spot. But to see these guys come out there and make some plays, it's really exciting. It's also really exciting just to see football again. Look, I love basketball. I love baseball. I love soccer. I love all these other sports, but nothing compares to football. Nothing compares to the atmosphere that a football game brings, and nothing compares to the atmosphere that Raider Nation brings. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the home opener that we're going to have on Monday Night Football against the Ravens. It's a very tough team, and it's a great way to start this season. But Raider Nation, let's get into it, because a lot has happened since we last talked. Since we last talked and I had Lindsey Rhodes on, we were talking about the Hall of Fame. And getting into the Hall of Fame and what the Hall of Fame meant for Raider Nation. Well, guess what, Raider Nation? I went out there, and I was out at the Hall of Fame. I went with my dad. We took a trip out to Canton, and it started out as a very stressful trip. And let me just give you guys a little story time. So the day of the flight, I get a call from my dad, and he goes, "Hey, I just landed in Atlanta. Spirit canceled my flight." So the first thing was wrong, that we went with Spirit. We were trying to find a cheap flight. Last minute, we waited, we procrastinated, we were trying to book. But so he calls me, goes, "Hey, I'm in Atlanta. They canceled my flight from Atlanta to Cleveland. I'm trying to get a flight with Southwest right now." He ends up getting a flight, gets there. His bags are still in Atlanta. After I get off the phone with him, I get an email from Spirit. "Your flight from LAX to Cleveland has been canceled." So I was supposed to fly Oakland to LAX to Cleveland. The main leg of that flight was canceled. So I'm like, well, shit, what am I going to do? So I scramble. I end up getting a flight. Then I'm trying to deal with Spirit and say, hey, look, I need to get my money back or something because this ain't it. Like, you guys canceled one leg of my flight. I am not flying with you guys. I'm not trusting you guys to take me anywhere else, to take me somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my flight. I'm going to figure this out and we'll deal with it on our own later. Spirit talking about, oh, we can give you $50. Nah, bump all that. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is you guys are going to give me a full refund. Long story short, I worked it out with Spirit. We got that taken care of. My dad, on the other hand, so my dad, he gets to Cleveland, gets down to the hotel. Bags aren't there. He calls Spirit. Oh, the bags are still in Atlanta. We're going to send them out to you. Okay. So he's waiting around. The flight that the bags are supposed to come on got canceled. So now he's freaking out. I get there. He's like, yo, my bags aren't here. I'm like, okay, well, let's go to the store. We'll find something. We'll get you situated, whatnot. So finally he gets a call Saturday. Mind you, we got there Friday. He gets a call Saturday afternoon that the bags are now en route. And so he gets a call Sunday. The bags have finally arrived. So luckily he's got all his stuff for Sunday, which is the really important day, right? Tom Flores is getting into the hall. Charles Woodson's getting into the hall. And he gets his stuff. So we get everything situated. He gets his bag. We go out to the airport. Then we hit to the hall. Man, the enshrinement ceremony was nuts. I mean, I'm talking about, we get there, we're right there in front of the stage. We can see everybody, all the Hall of Famers. You got Tom Brady walking through with like 65 security members. You had James Harrison walking through. All the 80 and 83 Raiders are sitting there, and we're all hanging out, having a good time. It was really exciting. And then to see Tom finally get into the Hall of Fame, that was the crowning moment right there. And then for Charles Woodson to come out and sing, and yo, Charles, I love you. You make a better football player than a singer. I'm just being honest. But hey, Charles comes out, he lights it up, he finishes it out strong, and then we head over to the after parties. We hit up Tom Flores' after party, and you've got all these Hall of Famers that he coached that are there. Marcus Allen. Jim Plunkett will be a Hall of Famer. Hopefully one day. He deserves it. He's the only 2-time Super Bowl champion quarterback that hasn't been inducted into the Hall of Fame yet. Hall of Fame committee, I'm here. We're coming for you. Jim, Lester, Cliff Branch, get ready, because Raider Nation is going to be down your throats for that one too. We got Coach in. Now we're going to come for the rest. Freddie Bolitnikoff, Art Shell, all these guys were out there to see Coach and to support Coach. And it was really exciting. Mark Davis, of course, was out there. And then head over to Charles Woodson's party, and he put on a great event. We had Woodson whiskey flowing. Intercept Wines was there. It was a really, really great event. So all in all, it was a great weekend in Canton. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my dad come on in the next coming up days, and we'll get into the whole events a little bit more. But what I want to talk about now, some takeaways that I have is this team is young, they're hungry, they look ready to get after it. And they're a team that Gus Bradley has simplified the defense. And I talk about this a lot. You don't have to have some crazy intricate defense. You don't have to have 47 plays on third down. You don't have to have all these different scenarios. Just go out there and play. You put these guys out there to play the game and to do what they love and to do what they do best. Move around, fly around, get to the ball, tackle. Some of the things that were really exciting to me, I saw some open field tackles. Amik Robertson, Javin White had some open field tackles that were really exciting. Offensively, the Raiders are moving the ball. And one of the things that I liked, and I hope it wasn't just a preseason thing, but John Gruden going for it on 4th and 1 on the goal line. That right there is if that's a precursor of what's to come, the Raiders are going to make some noise this year. If I would much rather go 4th and 1, put it up the gut, try to score than to take a field goal. I'm sorry, but I would rather go for 6 than to go for 3. unless it's like the first play of the game or the first drive of the game or something like that. But if it's a situation where you're in the middle of the game, man, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. You got to go after it. You got to make a play. You got to try to score. What we're seeing in this league is this is a scoring league, and teams are going to run up that score. You think if KC has the opportunity to go for a touchdown, then they're not going to go for a touchdown? You think if Green Bay has an opportunity to go, well, Green Bay might not, because we saw what they did in the NFC Championship game. But you think if the Buccaneers have an opportunity to go for a touchdown, they're not going to go for a touchdown? You got to have that killer instinct. You got to have that persona where you say, you know what, we're going to go for it. And we're going to score, and we're going to win this game. I want to see the Raiders go out there with a killer instinct. I want to see the Raiders go out there and put their foot on their throats and do not stop for 60 minutes straight. I don't want to see the Raiders fail to make second half adjustments. I don't want to see the Raiders let off the gas when they get up 14 points or if they get up 7 points. I want to see the Raiders keep their foot on the gas. You can't in this league. You cannot let up. You cannot give up in this league. You cannot let teams back, because teams will come back. Mistakes will be made. We saw plenty of mistakes last year. And speaking of mistakes that were made last year, a guy that made those mistakes, Arden Key, has been yapping all this time about, oh, I wanted to get out of the Raiders. I was trying to get out of there. It wasn't a good fit for me. Let's put it this way. Wasn't a good fit for a lot of people with Paul Guenther's defense, but Max Crosby made it work. Cleveland Farrell was still one of the highest graded defenders. Now, obviously, he's not getting the sacks that people want to see, but he's making plays. He's stopping the run. He's doing well to create havoc on the line. He's freeing up other guys. Mo Hurst was very effective. Jonathan Hankins was very effective. So do you see a pattern here? The guys that don't talk, the guys that aren't out there yapping and talking all this trash, they were effective. Even guys like Malik Collins, who said, hey, you know, it wasn't the right fit for me, but, you know, I'm going to do better. He didn't bash the Raiders. He didn't say that, he wanted to get out. He just said it wasn't a good fit. And sometimes it's not a good fit. Look, Paul Guenther ain't for everybody. He ain't for me, I'll tell you that. But for Arden Key to go out there with 3 sacks in 3 years to give up 2 games for the Raiders, he blew 2 games. The face mask on Fitzpatrick, and he kicked Deshaun Watson in the eye. That's on you, man. That's on you. And sometimes you have to take an inventory of yourself and look in the mirror and say, you know what? No, it's on me. And now you're over in Santa Clara playing at the Great America 49ers. And you want to bash the team that gave you an opportunity, a team that drafted you when you had so many red flags coming out of college. Raiders said, hey, you know what? Let's give this guy a chance. Your first year, you get hurt. Raiders ease you back in. Second year, you screw up. Everybody wanted you gone. Raiders brought you back. In the third year, you still can't get right. So you know what? No, that's on you. I wish a lot of people success. I hope he gets right. But don't disrespect the silver and black like that. Now, shout out Mo Hurst, because Mo Hurst is out there doing some great things. I think Mo's going to be a really good defensive tackle. He's a guy that I was really upset to lose, but I understand the game. I understand how football goes. The Raiders wanted to go a different direction, and they went that direction. Some key additions to this team that I'm really excited about right now. Gerald McCoy, the Raiders bringing in Gerald McCoy, 6-time Pro Bowler, defensive vet. He's a leader. He's coming off a quad injury from last year, but all reports are saying that he's doing good in practice, and he's leading. He's leading these guys, a young group of players. Him, Yannick Ngakoue, those are some guys on the defensive line that we can have be leaders and mentors. What I'm looking at right now, and I'm excited about this defense. I'm cautiously optimistic, as I always talk about, but I still think that there's still another piece that's needed. There's a linebacker out there by the name of KJ Wright. KJ Wright brings the ability to bring even more speed, even more physicality, even more knowledge, even more depth to this defense. But at the same time, what KJ Wright would do is KJ Wright is going to give this defense a bigger identity, and it puts leaders at every level. You've got Yannick and Gerald McCoy on the defensive line. You would have KJ Wright as a leader in the linebacker room. And then you would have Casey Hayward as a leader in the secondary. When you have leaders at all three levels in defense, that's when your team gets better. That's when your defense gets better. And I'm not talking about just leaders who are going to go in and make a locker room better, because me and Lindsay talked about that, where Gerald McCoy is a great locker room guy. But I think the other thing, too, is you got to have playmakers on the field. I love Jason Witten as a player, as a person. Great locker room guy, but he was way past his prime. And really, he was there to be a locker room coach, but it took snaps away from Foster Moreau. What I want to see is these guys come in, be a leader, and also make an impact. So as we get ready to roll into next week, the follow-up game, week 2 of the preseason, Raider Nation, I want to hear your thoughts. Please hit me on Twitter. Hit me with 5 stars. Drop a comment. Leave a review. Until then, go Raiders.
Canton Key, real talk.